The following podcast contains some strong language and some very average opinions. Any references to actual people are wildly inaccurate. It's probably best if you don't listen at all. The Roaring Peacock Podcast. Welcome back to the Roaring Peacock Match Review. We are discussing the Saturday afternoon PPV game against Crystal Palace. My name's Adonis. You know me as the Adelites on Twitter. And joining me today is our resident Riot Badger at Riot Badger, Alex.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And our special opposition guest from the 5-year plan is Jack Pearce. How are you going, mate?
Hi there. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, very welcome. Well, you better be entertaining.
Dance, Mickey, dance.
I hope they've sent the entertaining one.
I'll try it. I'll see what I can do. If you are going to be leaning on me for my dance skills, then I probably should leave now. But,
fuck, right, okay. Yeah. Should we get somebody else on?
Yeah,
dance, Jack, come on!
It's not a sight anyone needs. It's the first night of lockdown, and everyone's meant to be behaving themselves. I can't start dancing. It's going to be a disaster.
You do it inside, it's fine, isn't it?
True enough. Yeah.
Everybody dance now. So, football.
I can't see my family.
Yeah.
I've killed it already, Anna. Sorry.
I think it's mutually assured destruction, to be fair. Okay, so our listener knows quite a bit about Leeds. So Jack, can you tell them? Don't assume their gender, guys. It's 2020. Yeah. Can you tell them a little bit about Crystal Palace? How your season's got? As I understand it, you've lost 3 out of the last 5. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've after our super start, which was the first time we won the first 2 games of a Premier League season. We have stuttered since really, and have gone from Champions League challengers to kind of perennial bottom 6, bottom 7. So yeah, not great. I mean, last time out against Wolves was a bit of a damp squib, to be honest. We weren't great, and Wolves kind of had it tied up by half time. So looking for a bit of a bounce back from Palace, but Hodgson doesn't really do bounce backs, to be honest. It's often more of a more measured approach. So I doubt it'll be the most instantaneous response the Premier League will see.
Right.
We've also gone from Champions League pretenders to relegation strugglers in one game. It took about 90 minutes for our own fans to turn on ourselves. And indeed, our team to turn on itself also.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody believed it after that first goal. It's like, no, we're done, lads.
The thing is, we're playing Leicester. I think this season we've already had 5 or 6 different suggestions about who's going to do a Leicester, and it turns out it might well be Leicester. So maybe you just had the bad luck to be playing them at the time you played them.
Yeah.
Well, they're not has-been rejects, are they anymore? They're
no.
Premier League winners.
No, although it was a bit of a mystery to see Christian Fuchs playing, who I thought had long since retired and left the Premier League. But there he was at Ellen Road, a bit like a veteran celeb, just kind of turning up. But yeah. Leicester were good. Leicester were good. For about 20 minutes in the second half, I did fancy you guys to at least grab another one and fight for at least a point. But when they got the third, it kind of just meandered out, really, didn't it? Yeah.
Collapsed like a flan in a cupboard. So...
Yeah, I think they. I can't believe nobody called for an extra drug testing on Christian Fuchs. I'd be surprised if they hadn't pumped him full of steroids and youth drugs. I don't know what youth drugs are.
Youth drugs.
It sounded
whatever the cool kids are doing.
Yeah, sounded good in my head.
Yeah, he must be pushing 35 now, which as we all know, is ancient for anyone that's playing Premier League football. So,
well, he was defending against Pablo Hernandez, who's 36.
Yeah,
is he 35? He's 35. Probably between them, they could retire.
Yeah. So. I have heard that Sky are bringing back that kind of famous veteran six-a-side league they used to have in their 90s. So maybe it's an early showing of that one.
Yeah, it must be.
I'd be looking forward to that. wearing my retro shirts. Very nice.
Yeah.
Get old as possible. Van Basten, what's he doing? Get him back. Maradona, he's recovered, hasn't he, from his brain surgery? Get him on the fucking pitch. Get him going. Come on.
Come on, Pele. Have your blue pill, Pele. Get on the pitch.
Take the blue pill.
But I'm old. Get on the pitch.
I think Maradona will be fine. Once he had a night's bed rest, he'll be absolutely fine. He's good to go.
Yeah, exactly. They've put a brain in. That was what the surgery was, wasn't it? They've put a brain in now. He'll be off the drugs. Get him on.
Yeah. So Mr. Maradona, we just need to take a blood test. Oh my God, it's just white powder spilling everywhere. What's going on here?
Kind of like if you do some work on a roof and I'd just find a load of asbestos or something. It's probably what you find in Maradona.
Yeah. You cut him in half and it's just white powder. How?
Yeah.
Okay.
Suction, nurse, suction.
Yeah, well, good. We wish him well. We wish him well with his recovery.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah.
Just don't. Just say no. If Diego Maradona comes up to you and says, "You want some of my blood?" Just say no. It's not good.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the cool kids are doing. Maybe that's the young person's drug. It's Maradona's blood. Maybe it's just gone full circle.
Mate, have you had any Diego transfusions yet, mate? Honestly. I could see sounds.
My pupils were saucers.
I was just jumping over Peter Shilton time and time again. It's the best.
I saw the hand of God. It was in front of me.
Yeah, it was mine.
You've gone full... this green screen thing is not working for you, Alex.
It's not, is it? Because I had to keep disappearing. Yeah, bye.
Your head.
Bye, everyone.
Your head disappears. You're full-on decapitated.
I'll get rid of it. I'll let you see the shitstorm that is my...
Are you not outside on the road? Are you not in the car park at Ellen Road?
No. It's, honestly, if it were this weather as well, hiding from fireworks. I'll change it. Never mind.
Oh dear. You don't have to change it. I've got used to that.
I've got used to that Zoom effect really with work calls over the last 6 months or so, just by watching, colleagues just have partners put cups of tea in front of them, like something out of a sci-fi movie or something. But yeah,
their arm just appears out of nowhere.
Yeah. People disappearing in calls is part of the course now. In fact, when we are able to go back to pubs again, I'm going to kind of look for that when just in typical human interaction. So
yeah. Wait a minute, he didn't disappear.
Half-naked people walking in the background getting ready for the orgy. The after-Zoom orgy. That's
a bit close to home. That did actually nearly happen with a work call recently. Not on my end. What I was watching at the other end, it wasn't.
What happened to your end?
Nothing. Nothing. And perhaps that was the problem. End. Somebody's end. Not mine. But...
Yeah, that's happened at my work as well. It's a thing of legend. I don't want to disclose too much information, but somebody was serviced early in the morning.
Oh wow.
Good job. Yeah. Good job. It's on Zoom.
So Palace's form has been, a bit patchy in parts. And,
hey, there we go. He's the Palace Ross.
You're Ross in disguise.
I don't even know who he is. So sure.
He's our other podcast host who normally draws us back into talking about football rather than talking about...
Do you want me to play Ross tonight?
I think you might have to, mate, because we'll go down the rabbit hole.
Yes.
So, patchy form then.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to know about Leeds?
How do you... I have a question about a few of the transfers because you obviously spent quite a bit and, just wondered how you feel they've adapted, having, had what have we had? Have we had a quarter of the season or just under a quarter of the season? How do you feel kind of the bigger name signings are doing? Have we? That'd be about 9 games, 9.5 games or something. But
wow, that's gone quick.
Jesus, he's good at maths as well. Fucking hell.
I
wasn't beforehand. So it must be Ross. Ross must be good at maths because.
Yeah, that's it. Invoking Ross. New signings. I think they've settled in really well. We've only got one player that we've not seen, which is Llorente.
Yeah.
Because he went on international duty with Germany and came back with a groin strain, so we've not seen him play for us yet. Okay. But we're talking about Robin Koch, who started the season with us at centre back. It was a little bit shaky Koch. There's so many jokes. And he's been solid. For fuck's sake, he's been
I can't believe he wasn't the one with the groin strain.
Yeah, exactly. He's been really good for us. I think that he's kind of slipped back a little bit in the last game, and he made a mistake for the first goal and was really he'd lost his confidence for the rest of the game. It seemed like he wasn't the stalwart that he's been in the previous games.
Yeah.
Rodrigo, he's fitting really well. We thought he was going to be in competition with Bamford for the number 9. But it seems that Bamford stepped up and he is the number 9, but Rodrigo's slotted in a sort of advanced midfield role, and they work and play off really well from each other. And then there's Rafinha. So Rafinha's not really played a big part because he's just catching up with fitness, but what we have seen has been quite promising. But he had an ankle strain for the last game, but we think he's just seen the weather and gone, fuck that, and wrapped himself up in the stands and just not
See
played.
you in March, that type of attitude.
Yeah, that's it. I think other than that, the other signings are ones that we've had on loan. So Jack Harrison, he's a massive fit into the team. He's on loan at the minute, but we will buy him at the end of the season. Ian Pervader's now coming into... we bought him last season, but he's now a first teamer. He looks really promising, even though he's about 3 foot nothing.
Great to see a man under 25 with the name Ian, to be honest. I'm absolutely delighted.
Yeah, it's Jan, isn't it? It's Jan. But yeah, we call him Ian. Little Ian.
Ian.
His middle name's Carlo. He's basically Ian Carl. But then Ocampo.
Jan Carlo Poveda Ocampo.
Yeah.
Ocampo. I've got to say, lads, if you're looking for Palace middle name, information, I haven't really got that with me. So, might not have that on call.
Oh, is it Ross Wood?
Bloody amateurs.
Sorry.
You bloody southern amateurs.
Honestly,
Gary
Gary
Jonathan Cahill. I'll put
you know what? You could tell us. We won't know. So just make it up.
I think I know Wilfs. I think Wilfs is. I don't know if it's his middle name, but it's Dazet, Dazet. I think.
You definitely made that up.
Like Daz, but smaller.
No, I have not. I think it is, but he's just Wilf in our part. So he gets by with he's a bit like Prince or Madonna, just Wilf. You
can't get the guests these days, I tell you.
Sorry, lads.
These guests coming on, giving up in their own time, doing it for free.
Not knowing middle names. Worst.
We don't talk about middle names in this podcast for reasons.
It's interesting to hear though about the signings. I think Bielsa doesn't strike me as someone that brings anyone into the squad unless he sees a purpose for them. So he clearly likes Jack Harrison, who is it his third loan spell?
Yes, the second loan spell.
Okay.
Oh no, is it third? Isn't it? Yeah,
technically,
he was for the first season for Bielsa, wasn't it? Yeah,
technically, and also non-technically, it's his third.
He's like one of the most long-standing players, and he's never actually been a permanent Leeds player. It's pretty good going. That
he's made such huge improvements year on year. So yeah. Yeah, it's been definitely
is he the lad
worth
that had is he the lad that had a spell in the States? Did he come through?
Yeah, New York. Yeah. It was at for a while.
Yeah. Start spreading the news.
Yeah, his time as a Sinatra tribute act was great. Yeah. In fact, his football picked up once he stopped doing kind of the amateur nights. It's clearly having an impact on his play.
He's focused now. That's it.
They have a great initiation song though.
It turned into a concert when he pre-season. It was great. They just song after song. They just kept banging them out.
I want to hear the story of somebody doing an initiation song, but doing "Come Sail Away" by Styx, and that will be my favourite player forever. Just sing the whole of that. And have you ever read that song?
No, you're going to have to serenade.
Just listen to Cartman. No, you don't want to listen to that. I used to do it as my soundcheck song as well. No, I'm too old now. Me and Pablo Hernandez are too old.
Oh dear. Well, normally we've talked about football a bit more, but I guess I'll do it now. So each week we
Go on.
do a prediction. So you can also give the names of scorers, and you get a point if they do indeed score. Vardy scored last week, didn't it? So that would have given.
He did, yeah. Please give me a point.
Yeah, you both got a point from last week. Okay, but you're still losing, Alex. So basically,
yeah, standard.
Yeah, you get 1 point for guessing if it's a win, loss, or draw, and you get 3 points for a correct score, and you get a point each for the scorers. So I'll start with you, Jack, the incumbent.
Yeah, we don't score many, so I'm going to go, and I'm not going to be Palace biased. I'm going to go for a 1-1.
Okay.
And I'm going to say it's tempting to go Wilf because he's pretty much the only thing that does score goals for us. But Batshuayi, I think, is a 3 offside goals in 3 games. So I'm going to say he's going to stay onside for 1 game, and he's going to score. And then I'm going to go Tyler Roberts with 10 minutes to go. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
If he
That's
scores
come from nowhere.
If he scores in the 80th minute, I'm giving you 5 points. That's fucking ridiculous prediction. Okay?
Don't know where it came from.
Okay.
It's like a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
So Palace are low scoring. We only scored 1 in the last game, but we're on 0 goal difference now, so we're on evens. So I think we'll be trying to redress the balance. I reckon it's going to be 2-1 Leeds. I think Zaha, definitely, because he's in my FPL as well, so I need him to score. Bamford, also in my FPL, so I need him to score. And I'll go Dallas. Stewie Dallas, no.
Dallas.
Can I just mention Patrick Bamford just for 1 second before?
Yeah, of course.
You may not recall this because I don't even think he would probably recall this. He had a loan spell at Palace.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Trying to think how.
Yeah. Well, I think so would he. He was there. He was there meant to be there for a whole season on loan from Chelsea. He banged a load in for Middlesbrough the season before in the Championship, and we got him on loan and thought, this is a really exciting signing. I think some rate him as one of the worst Palace players they've ever seen during his spell. And the final nail in the coffin was he came on, it was either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, and I can't actually remember the game, but he was dreadful for 45 minutes. And he basically waved goodbye as he walked off the pitch to say, I don't like it here. I'm not enjoying this. And we kind of waved back and went, it's mutual, mate. You do what you need to. And he left. I think it's one of those weird Wikipedia entries where it will say like 6 appearances, no goals. And people in news will be like, did he go to Palace? Was he at Palace? When he's banging goals in for England, it's, typical Palace, really.
He also had to apologise for tweets that he made criticising his time at Palace. So he said, if I were being honest, it's been terrible. No one wants to sit on the bench and not play. It was my decision. The gaffer hasn't actually spoken to me. And then his big reply to it was, my comments after the game at the weekend were taken completely out of context. And for that, I want to apologise. I really enjoyed my time at Palace. The lads were brilliant. So, yeah.
I don't know. I can't actually remember who the gaffer would have been that he's referring to. What year is the article from?
It's Pardew.
Oh, it's Pardew. Yeah. Oh, well, there's a quiet soul who would have definitely taken other people's feelings into consideration. So he's all for that. But yeah, he went. I don't know if he went back to Chelsea and then out somewhere else, but yeah, it was only half a season, and he wasn't really missed.
Yeah, he ended up back at Borough permanently, and that's where we bought him from. But yeah, what makes me laugh about that is Aire complaining about being taken out of context. Brilliant. It happened earlier.
That's never happened before.
He's the proto-Aire. Brilliant. No.
Good practice for his time as, I don't know, cabinet member for countryside management or something in years to come. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's funny you should say that.
In fact, no, it'll be. That's when. No, I was just going. It's not when he's banging goals in for England that people will go, did he have a loan spell at Palace? It's when he's Prime Minister. That's when people will say,
yes.
Was he at Palace? All right, yeah.
It's funny you should say that.
Ex-Palace striker, Prime Minister Patrick Bamford.
A lot of Palace fans consider him like one of the worst players to play for Palace because I think prior to this season, probably a lot of Leeds fans felt the same way about Leeds, about him playing.
Oh,
for
really?
Leeds. He missed
Really?
a lot of chances.
The thing is,
a lot.
Yeah, you don't. If you don't watch him, if you expect him to score goals last season, this season he is scoring, so he's doing really well. But if you watched him expecting him to knock in 20 goals a season, he wasn't going to do it. But the work that he put in was massive. But yeah, a lot of people don't see that. I've got somebody who stands next to me in the cop, a few rows down, just shouts, "Get it forward" every 35 seconds. So people don't really understand football massively.
No.
So they're entitled to their opinion.
I like the way you translated that from the original.
Get it forward.
Get it forward.
Get it forward. Get it forward. What are you missing? Get it forward. That's how it is.
Get it on his forehead. What?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, pretty much. Forward. Get it forward.
Yeah, I think I don't really have that great a memory of him, to be honest. I had a season ticket at the time, but I honestly can't really remember him. Other than the only notion I have of him is that he always seemed to be offended if he had the ball nicked off him, as if to say, "That's my ball. I wanted more time with that, and I was gonna play it off." And he looked like the type of player that couldn't adapt from the Championship to the Premier League. So it has been a bit surprising, even though he's 5 years older now. It has been a bit surprising to see that he has been able to, adapt so quickly to the league and score as many as he's scored so far. So
yeah. There's a few players in Leeds that we're thinking of that of, like Stuart Dallas, for example. Most of the team that they're playing at this level is way beyond our expectations of them when we first bought them. So
yeah.
Pay-per-view. Should we talk about that? I think they've ditched.
I completely got in the way of the predictions there. Sorry.
No problem. We all did it. Everybody
we
did
haven't
it.
had your prediction.
He doesn't do predictions.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Nicely sidestepped.
No. If you don't predict, you can't be wrong. So I'm wrong enough. Trust me, I'm wrong enough. I feel bad enough about myself already. I don't need to get a double dose of ego bursting anxiety each week. So pay-per-view.
So you just outsource that to me.
Yes, exactly.
Pay-per-view. Yes,
that's what I've got Alex in for. You've prepaid it, haven't you, Jack? You've been a very good boy. You're definitely not going to illegally stream it, are you?
Do you know what? I haven't watched it either illegally or legally, either of our games. I've relied on the old-fashioned wireless for both.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's been a nice. I've been doing other stuff at both times, and it's actually been quite nice to do it. And I feel calmer because as soon as the ball goes within 30 metres of Palace's goal, I'm not on the edge of my seat thinking, this is going to be the end of it, because I don't really know where the ball is on the radio. It's just someone's dulcet tones telling me that there's a football match going on. But I won't be paying for this one either. I just can't believe this was a policy ever adopted, and I'm very pleased to hear that it has been ceased. I don't know when it's ceasing. I think somebody said after the international break things will be back to
basically our game is one of the last ones, so they want to make sure they get that sweet Palace Leeds money, and then there'll be
that sweet 45 quid from the 3 people that do it. So good on them.
Yeah,
I don't actually know a single person that's done any PPV game. Not for any of the bigger clubs, not for their beloved team. I really think it's been an absolutely awful decision by the powers that be to pursue that. I think it's been nonsense.
There was one person in the comments replying to, because we did a boycott PP. I'm sorry for the fireworks, by the way. This will come up on the mix, Adonis. So it's really bad. So it's we did a boycott PPV, and basically people donated the money to food banks.
Yeah, and
there was somebody in the replies to that saying, "You just putting people towards illegal streams, just collecting for this charity and looking after like hungry people. You're just forcing them to do illegal streams. It's like, I guess you're paying for it, then, mate. I guess you're one of them." That kind of suggests that the Premier League or whoever's actually collecting this is akin to a food bank.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Or a hungry child. I can't believe you're not giving these millionaires more money. And instead, you're giving hungry kids food, you bastard.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I never considered the Premier League the Oliver Twist of the conglomerate world. I never knew it.
Please, sir, could I have more 14.95?
Yeah. And instead of PPE, which they should have been fucking at least getting somebody who is able to provide it. There, we've all been focusing on fucking PPV, which just sounds like a fucking terrible disease that you're going to get spots all over your dick or something. You don't want PPV. No. My mate had it. No, you don't want that.
I had a really good night last night, and I think we've gotten really well. But I've got something to tell you. I think you might need to have a check for PPV.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it summarises for me just the worst of the Premier League, and I think why some Palace fans, and I'm sure some Leeds fans, do offer that adage of, "Well, I wish we were in the Championship," or I wish it was simpler, because paying additional fees to watch Fulham versus Palace at an empty Craven Cottage is about as bad an essence of capitalism as I could possibly imagine, to be honest.
It burns. It's red raw, and it creates more hungry children. The worst venereal disease of all time, PPV.
It makes me really anxious for 90 minutes as well.
When was this? Saturday, 3 p.m. What do you want to know about it? It's
I'll be paying though, because I need to pay, because I can legitimately watch it and then talk about it in the review. So I've paid my £15, and I will be definitely watching it on a legitimate source.
Yeah.
Well, it's why I refused to come on the review show instead. I insisted. Right. I'm only for the preview. I'm not paying, so
You could review. You could review from your wireless. Speaking of which, wireless it does make me think like, you could go full virtue signaling, I've got my wireless, kids, and I don't know what you're talking about with your television. You don't need to pay Sky and everything. Look, I've got the wireless, and I'm perfectly fine with it. It's like all
back in my day, it was just wireless, wasn't it? You didn't watch on this TV stuff, and it was black and white on telly anyway. So about wireless,
what I didn't tell you guys was I actually I developed that crib sheet that they had in magazines in the 1930s, where the radio commentator would tell you where the ball was on the pitch by which quadrant it was in. So
back to square one.
The ball now goes into number 8. Yes, the Reds have it. Yes, I really went all the way with it, and then halfway through the game, the news broke that Hitler had invaded Poland. And
that sucks. That, to be fair,
that was rubbish. I wasn't expecting that.
You've got to keep politics out of sport, really.
You really have to. Good. Yeah, certainly politics out of podcasts. Sorry, lads. Sorry.
Oh no, this one, it's fair game on politics.
Who would Hitler have supported?
Well, he was Austrian, so I don't know where in Austria he's from. So you might be able to tell us more about that.
Yeah, no, I might have been able to if I cared or if I knew anything about it, but I don't. I think he'd be a Scum fan. I think he'd be a Man United fan.
Yeah. Do you think?
It's your Red Devils. Yeah,
Red Devils.
I like your colours. Okay. I like your colours and the devil. Go Scum.
I think he'd have probably taken on a team just to have something to talk about with the people within the powers that be that did like football, and just mention Ryan Giggs on rhythm of every couple of minutes. Yes, Ryan Giggs is good, but no, he doesn't strike me as a football fan, Hitler.
No, it's definitely. I don't think he's a football fan. I don't think he is.
He's like calling Ed Woodward. Can you fire all the black players?
And Tottenham Hotspur? No. We don't want to go. Should we tug at that string? I really don't think we should. No.
Lads, I'm getting that kind of red fever around my back of my neck where I'm like, we need to move away from this.
But I know which team he'd supported. He'd support Red Bull Blitzkrieg. Next.
Or whatever the high energy drink of the day was. You know, whatever it would be.
I think it was Coke. I think it was Coke, didn't it? And Coke actually used to have Coke in it, didn't it?
Well, that's where Fanta came from. And gather round, kids. World War II facts. They couldn't get Coca-Cola into Germany because of the embargo when they declared war. So the Germans invented Fanta. That's where Fanta comes from. It's a Nazi drink. So if you drink Fanta, Nazi.
Yeah, and
I've got 3 bottles of it in the fridge.
Oh, there we go now. Third Reich. So.
And you brought it up. You brought it up, Jack. You can't be peddling away from it now. When you started digging, a hole, and he said, "Come on, lads, I've got some shovels for you." And
all you need to do, just tweet, like write in your notes app on your phone, and then post it, say it was taken out of context, and you're fine.
I can't believe it. I feel like one of those people that's come out of a polling station and said that I voted for Joe Biden when I know full well that I didn't. I feel terrible.
Oh man, the dishonesty.
I did read an article about, I think it was on TIFO, actually. You can check it out. They do some interesting stuff. There was a Nazi flag that was raised at White Hart Lane. And it was England versus Germany in a friendly. And I'm pretty sure that England players had to give the Heil Hitler salute as well. So that was like early in the 30s or mid-30s, I think, before we knew that he was a complete...
I don't think we were sending teams over for friendlies while the war started, so I'm guessing pre-39.
Yeah, definitely.
It was,
Oh, he's invaded Poland, we can't have a friendly anymore.
No. Call it off. It would have been that early September Hitler. International winter. Yeah, come on.
God, we were all set to have a nice football game. Look what you've done.
Hitler.
We'll have to wait Christmas Day now.
I was going to say, go give it 3 months, we'll play over Christmas. Yeah. Wrong war. I do know that's the wrong war. Apologies for any historians here.
I think this is the furthest off track we've ever been.
No, it don't work.
This is a Crystal Palace preview,
Sorry.
isn't it? You were meant to be Ross. Look where you've taken us.
Sorry.
We've crossed the Maginot Line.
Sorry. I was thinking of my mate Ross, who does a history podcast. Sorry, I don't know.
Oh man, I'll be a guest for that. I love
that. Okay, Palace. Palace. PPV.
Oh, I've got a question about Palace. The only thing I know, and my brother told me this because he came over and he goes, "Oh, what are you doing tonight?" I said, "I'm doing the Palace preview," and I've not done any research. He goes, "Oh, I want Susanna Reid knocking off their owner." I went, "Oh, well, that's knowledge." So apparently, that's a thing.
I don't know if this is going to risk the status of my season ticket when I can go back into games, but I can confirm that was a thing for a short while. Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Short thing.
Steve Parish. Definite thing. It's definite for sure. For sure. You can have that one. That is confirmed. I think they were even pictured together.
Confirmed.
It was her. Oh. And the difficulty one for Parish is because the other love of his life often sits next to him at Palace games, which is Mark Bright. So, I think Mark Bright might have felt a bit of a third wheel at times. But look, Mark Bright's still there and Susanna Reid's not. So who played the long game? Bright.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
yeah.
So but that is true. That's good knowledge of your brother there. That's interesting.
It's a totally niche knowledge as he's walking out of my house and it's like, Susanna Reid. Yeah. Okay, cheers. I'll mention that.
I do want to ask about the ultras. So I feel like you're the only team, definitely in the Premier League, but the only team in England who has a ultras group.
The Homesdale Fanatics. Yeah. They've they obviously get a lot of attention because of the noise they create, but they've also been a power for good. And you mentioned the food banks there. If you watch on Saturday, you'll see that behind the goal on the Homesdale end, there is an advert basically for the local food bank, which is where they normally would stand, and they arrange that with the club to have that. So while you've got all the other, come on you Palace and come on Eagles, blah blah blah, that's what they wanted where they are in Block E, I don't know, but behind the goal. So they wanted that because they felt, it's a wonderful advert for the local food bank. So they do a lot of good stuff for the local club, for the local community, and And recently they've also voiced, as have 5-year plan, who I'm here on behalf of, voiced their concerns about the club season ticket policy. So they are, obviously the fanatics in terms of match day experience, but also they're, a proper voice for good for the club and the local community. So all power to them. Yeah.
So
what's happening with the season tickets then?
Well, go on.
They're banging a drum. Sorry, they're just banging a drum the whole time, aren't they? I mean, 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after, it's just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I know at times when you'd go to, I think Sheffield Wednesday were the ones with the drum, weren't they? Did Derby have one as well? I try and forget the championship.
I can't remember Derby having a drum. Sheffield Wednesday definitely have the most annoying drummer. Wigan had a drummer. Wigan's drummer. Oh my word! And it was out of time as well.
Yeah,
and
when you've got a hangover. So I'm just wondering, is it a good thing for you? Do you like that? I guess you were there before the drum and after, so pre-drum and post-drum.
So where my season ticket is, I'm literally in the block next to them, and what they have is the ability to keep on going even when the game is, well out of our control, or we're playing terribly, which does often happen at home. And I think the club and the players and the manager have actually often come out and said, the fan, whether not just singling out the Homesdale fanatics, but saying it's the fans that get us up the pitch. And there have been instances where the continued noise, which without the fanatics would have gone, has kept us in the game. The team are reminded that there's a fan. The Premier League, as you'll find out when crowds are back, and from your time in the Premier League, there are some ghostly stadiums in this league where, from minute one there's silence. And when we first came up, and I was doing all the big grounds for the first time with great, Man City. I mean, the two Manchester clubs, both of them. I mean, I could not believe Old Trafford. It was actually a very odd experience. And the game ended, we lost 1-0, and I was there with my brother, and he just looked at me and went, "That was not what I was expecting." Because I think there's the notion, these great nights, a bit like Anfield, the great nights under the lights at Old Trafford. But it certainly wasn't the same on a 3 p.m. wet Saturday in November a couple of years ago. So, I think Palace has this reputation for the noise because of its comparison to other atmospheres in the league. But they do keep on going all game, and it's credit to them, really.
Yeah, well, fair play to Scum. I mean, who knew what the sound of 50,000 selfies all being taken at the same time sounded like?
Yeah.
God.
Just
it's
people
one of those grounds you
living
go
in the moment.
Yeah. It's one of those grounds you go to as an away fan, and then you get asked for directions by people wearing the home club shirt, and it's a bit like, I don't know, no idea.
I saw a tweet the other day with Grimsby's ground, and it was from a top down, from a satellite photo, and it said on the tweet like, a football club that's part of its community, and it made me think, I want to Photoshop Old Trafford onto London. A map of London, football in the heart of its community.
Yeah, it's what can you say? But I think it gives Palace that selling point in terms of who is Palace. People know Palace from the noise that they often hear when watching Palace at home games and away. Our away support is very good as well. I'm lucky enough to go to 5, 6, 7 games a season away from home, and it's always a great day out, even if we lose, because the atmosphere is often been good. I think there was a concern among some Palace fans that would dissipate as the, don't want to sound too first world problems, but as the years went by in the Premier League, the novelty might wear off somewhat for the away support in general, but obviously the fanatics, but it just hasn't. And I don't know if it was the start of last season or the start of the year before there, or the season before, there was a dispute between the fanatics and the club in terms of where they were located. They suggested that the club had said they could move more into the central part of the stand, and the club then didn't do it. So they stopped doing it. And for the maybe 6 or 7 home games where that was happening, the atmosphere suffered without question. It was a very, very different experience, match day experience.
I was going to say, what is do you guys have like a vision of where you want to go? Do you have ambition? I get the feeling that it's a club that is happy with mid-table, essentially. I mean, obviously, you as a fan wouldn't want that. Surely you must want a little bit of Europa League action or something down the line. I mean,
would be great. There's a couple of seats talking. You mentioned Pardew earlier on, and there was a season when we got all the way up to Christmas and we were 5th or 6th, and we, my cousins who I go to games with, we were seriously talking about, a European journey could, be on the cards this season. We actually said that, and then we won the week after again, which kind of got us excited. After that, which was the week before Christmas, we won 2 league games all season. So, we've kind of been burnt by that, and we'd love a European campaign. I mean, in fairness, that season we did lose the FA Cup final, so if we'd won that, we'd have danced all night, really, and probably still be dancing. But
that was where Pardew was dancing.
Oh yeah, oh god, I had actually forgotten about that. Yeah. Do you know what?
I want to remind you, and I'm glad I could capture that on celluloid, as they used to say.
Do you know what's a great moment, just a proper moment in time, when Pardew's doing whatever he's doing, in exactly the same moment, Jason Puncheon, who he benched for the cup final, having scored that goal, was going absolutely ballistic, and God knows what's coming from his mouth. But it was all directed at Pardew to say, you should have picked me. But at the same time, he's doing whatever that dance was. I mean, I could not tell you what had come over him at that moment to think that was relevant, cool, appropriate. I don't know. You're 8 minutes away from winning what would be providing the best moment in a football club's history in over a century of football. And instead of thinking, right, how do we need to set up for 8 days, he's doing, living la vida loca or whatever he was doing. So, yeah, thanks for that. Great. That's completely taken over everything in my head now. Just that 8 minutes. I think we were.
It wasn't Hitler. Hitler, you got through.
Hitler. I got through Hitler.
But Pardew dancing, that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Dave, you've done me in now. That was. Can we go back to Hitler? Can we talk about Hitler again?
Somebody needs to put Hitler's head on Pardew doing that dance now, and then just post it without context, and then
not for my benefit, please, please, listener, don't do that, please.
Jack Pierce.
Thank you. No. He so we've kind of flirted with top table, but I think in 8 years we've not actually finished in the top half. I think 11th being our best finish so far. So we would take a top half finish, and this season might be the one to do it. But we do end up just kind of meandering back towards 13th, 14th every season, and planning. I still think the club's main aim is to stay up, and understandably, for a club of Palace's size to sustain the income and the profile, really. This week we've had some progress on the development of the ground, which would be a big plus. If they can use the money that's come in over the last few years to improve the ground, that would be a big benefit for the club. So yeah, we'll see. But no European. I'll tell you what, it would be a proper Palace experience to not be able to go and watch them in Europe. So if this continued while went into next season, put a fiver on Palace winning the FA Cup or something, and we'll be in Europe with no fans, but there to cheer them home when they got back to Gatwick or something like that.
bit like us, being in the Premier League with no fans.
Did you know what Victor Orta said today about no fans being there? He said if we get relegated without fans being able to see Leeds in the Premier League, he's going to dive in the River Aire.
Really?
Just Victor
Is
Orta.
that just confidence that you won't then?
I hope he doesn't do that, because we need
it.
It
would be Leeds that.
But
yeah, kind of need him to get back up.
As long as he survives, I'm happy with it. That would at least be some good content.
Good press, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a funny character. He's I watched the Leeds documentary last year, and he came out of it quite well, actually. I thought he was quite an interesting character. The heartbreaking experience at the Dan James transfer not happening was one of the saddest moments in film of last year, to be honest. I thought he acted beautifully, and it was a wonderful moment.
Yeah. Why do you
wonderful
need
for us?
Why do
No.
you need a plan B when plan A is sitting there having signed and we've done the shirt photos? And yeah, he's
Crazy.
just emotional. I mean, he cries when we score a goal. You know, if you see the second season of that, when we've gone up, it's only 2 episodes, but the second episode is really, really good and really captures the emotion of what it meant at the end. And yeah, he lives every kick. And when we score a goal, he's crying. You know, people questioned him when he first came in, and he's just proved them all wrong. And I'm glad. Yeah. I mean, we had so many years of terrible owners and just complete mismanagement. So anybody who came in was going to be questioned. But yeah, all you want from anybody involved in your club is to show as much passion as you feel. And I think he's got as much passion as all of us put together. So the one thing that I wanted to know is we haven't had any sort of beef, have we? There's been no kind of mass brawls or riots against each other. I feel like we probably...
I've got 2. Go on. Sorry, go on.
No, I just feel like once you've got all the way down to London and you get to Palace and you see that it's kind of this small, kind of homely, kind of family club, then you don't really care because you know you're just you're not a big rival, or you're not one of those big clubs that, I mean, you know who you are, and you're so tired because you've come all the way from Leeds.
And you've had a 15-minute walk from the train station. You know, it's terrible. Yeah. You know what always makes me laugh about, you know, just I'll answer the question in a second, but what always makes me laugh about, particularly the media's obsession with what a difficult place Selhurst Park is to get to. We've got 3 train stations within a 10-minute walk. We've got bus routes galore, and we're a 15-minute train journey from London Bridge. Like, come on, that is like pretty good in terms of accessibility, and that's just lazy media, I think. Just Martin Tyler wanting a bit of a kind of sentence at the start of every match he does from Selhurst Park about how difficult it is to get to Selhurst Park. I've never had a problem. Talking nonsense.
No, it's definitely got a repertoire of lines that it comes out, and it's always the same about Leeds as well. You know, Leeds, if you watched them in the era of Revy, and it's like, wow, am I playing FIFA? Or am I watching Sky? Because it's just the same stuff regurgitated every game.
It's on repeat. I don't know. It's just this same thing about Palace being difficult to get to. But anyway, in answer to the question about Leeds and Palace having beef, I've got 2 proper Leeds Palace associated memories. One is the devastation at David Hopkin leaving Palace to join Leeds after we got promoted, because being the naive, what was I, 8 or 9, thinking, oh, we've gone up, he's not going to want to leave. He left, and I was devastated. And I didn't like Leeds for a while because they took David Hopkin. So that's one. I didn't start any fights though with Leeds fans, so there's no issue with no dramas.
You took Hopkin.
You took Hopkin. And then the second one was a FA Cup 5th round tie, where I think Palace were in the Championship, and it was dark days. We weren't great. I think we'd just come out of administration about 2 seasons before, but we were very mid-table. Trevor Francis was our manager, and we might as well have just said at the start of the season, we'll finish 12th and just be done with it. Like, we're not going to do anything. We're going to stay up, but we're not going to do anything. But Leeds came to town for a 5th round cup game, and we probably gave you a good game. And I can't remember who handballed it. It might have been Harry Kewell, possibly. And it was all Palace fans talked about for about 3 months afterwards, was the Leeds handball. And I doubt either of you even remember the game. So it just shows how different our worlds were at the time. You were probably planning a Champions League trip. Meanwhile, we were like hung up on a handball on the line. And Dermot Gallagher didn't give it. And I see him every Monday doing that Premier League ref watch. I'm just like, yeah, you should be giving out advice, mate. You couldn't even see a handball. So, yeah, literally the only 2 Palace Leeds. Yeah.
The thing that I've got is Mr. Thomas Brolin. And the game, the first game that he played with you guys against us, that was a classic. Incredible
time for Palace. At a time where I think shortly after he joined, he became assistant manager to the manager Attilio Lombardo, which was the unlikely Premier League management duo of the century, probably, to be honest. He joined and he didn't look well. he
No.
he wasn't in a good place. I don't know what you did. I don't know what you did. Did he come straight to Palace from Leeds? I think he did, didn't he?
By mutual consent contracts, and then ended up at Palace. But he was overweight at us. He just couldn't fit in. He couldn't play. He actually made claims that he was bullied at Leeds as well. But yeah, I remember that game, watching it as a young kid and just not wanting him to do anything good because he's left Leeds, so he's nothing to us. But I think he ended up with a cut on his head. He had to get a bandage.
That rings a bell.
Him in the face.
Do you know what's amazing about players like that? And it was definitely the naivety of youth. So when I was younger, I absolutely exhausted a video of World Cup '94, from which he was incredible for Sweden. He was just such a player. And I just had the name. So I hadn't, being 8, I wasn't watching him every week at Leeds. And I thought, wow, Thomas Brolin's joined Palace. It was a bolt of reality. I never got excited about another Palace player ever again, to be honest. Yeah. Thomas Brolin, not good.
And he quit football at 28 to sell vacuum cleaners.
Good on him.
That tells you exactly where his strengths lie.
Good on him. Yeah, he ended that season as assistant manager. Certainly translator, if not assistant manager to Attilio Lombardo.
Right.
Who had joined Palace thinking, I'll go and play in the Premier League, and then ended up having to manage a country without any of the native tongue, which was an interesting experience.
So that's it then. We've got the Brolin Derby.
The Brolin Derby, as we all know it by now, at least anyway.
We should just eat basically all you can eat. We've just got to get a fucking buffet and then another one. And then just fucking, that's what we do to commemorate the Brolin Derby. Just
eat loads, and then put a bandage around your head at the end when you've had enough, like you did in that game. Yeah, good choice. And then run the Hoover round. Yeah, good.
And then get someone to smash the ball in your face.
Yeah, that's it.
We should get him on the pod. Give him a call. Anyone got his number? Give him a call.
I don't think he'd have anything to do with Leeds, but let's try.
We could try. We've got a number of ideas of people to get on the pod. We can add Brolin to the list. Why not?
Is David Hopkin one?
I see David Hopkin, right? I've got a good relationship. Well, not a relationship. He doesn't know that I exist. But I've built my whole Twitter following on making his face small for like a year when he were at Bradford. Because obviously we'd not seen him for ages when he played at Leeds, and he went away and he came back. And obviously he's got older, and his head's got bigger, but his face has stayed the same size. So I made this whole thing of just making his facial features slightly smaller than in the photo and reposting it. And it got to the point where there's this uncanny valley of like, did you do that? Have you been at this photo? So I just do it to everybody now. So it all started with David Hopkin was at Bradford.
Was he good for you? Was he good at Leeds?
Yeah, solid player, really good player.
Yeah,
and not necessarily the most skillful, but somebody that you could rely on. I always remember him in that like half yellow, half blue kit. Yeah, I think of David Hopkin. It's always that kit.
Yeah,
Packard Bell. Yeah,
captain does.
Did he?
Yeah, for I think
that's
maybe 1 or 2 seasons, and then it was Radaby. If I remember correctly,
he was one of those players that would score like 15 or 20 goals a season from midfield, but also be hard as anything. So he was just good. He was doing everything at all times, really. And then he left. And then about 4 years later, 3 years later, he came back on a free transfer to Palace. And the season where we very, very nearly went down, but for a winner 6 minutes from time at Stockport. And the goal was great from Dougie Freedman, a proper brilliant individual effort. But it starts with David Hopkin with the most blatant handball on the edge of our own penalty area, where he literally punches it. He just literally knocks it out of the air, and the referee goes, "He can't have done that. It's too obvious."
There's no way.
And the ball went down, and Huddersfield went down because of David Hopkins handballing it. So yeah, good old David Hopkin. Who
like him even more now.
Yeah, yeah, just absolutely battered it like a volleyball. And 20 seconds later, all of the Palace end are on the pitch, and we've stayed up. He came back, and he looked like his dad when he came back the second time. He looked like he had just returned and had a very hard life in between.
Yeah, he's had an ad paper on since.
He did not look like the same person. But he went down in folklore for that day.
I went to Leeds. I've seen things.
They did things to me up there that I'll never tell you about. I need to go back to Palace.
Need to go back to Bath. There was better dentistry maybe in South London, which he needed.
God. Yeah, I think when he came to us, I think he could have eaten an apple through a tennis racket. So
yeah, I don't think he had anything. I don't think he had any teeth when he came to. But I think he lost them all when he was a youngster at Chelsea. Or I don't know. I wouldn't want to speculate about his dental hygiene. But
the thing is, if you look at what age was he when he played for Leeds, he was probably something like 26, something like that.
Yeah,
he doesn't look like a 26-year-old. Oh my God, because he was probably younger than I am now when he played for Leeds, and he looked ancient. So.
Well, shout out to my favourite Twitter account at the moment, which is, I can't remember the exact name of it, but basically old-looking blokes from the 80s who are much younger than they actually are. And it is quality. I don't know, the guy who runs it at the moment is doing a World Cup of it.
Right.
And he's just drawn random blokes against other random blokes. and you have to decide which is the better picture. And I don't know where he's got the pic. It's sensational. He's got pictures of like third division Italian players from 1983 who are 27 but look like my grandfather. It's mental. And
this is right on my street.
It's old 80s footballers or something like that. It is the best Twitter account out there at the moment. And,
Alex is going to small face all of them, and then have a small face 80s old men World Cup.
There was small face World Cup. Oh, small face World Cup. I'm going to have to do that.
I will answer. If you put the polls up, I'll answer. I'll be there. I'm there for that.
Yeah, I think it's 80s aging. 80s footballers aging badly.
Yeah.
Found it. Wow, that's brilliant.
Special shout out to the Ipswich Town team of the early 80s, which look like, they've been through some hard times during their teens. Are you found it now?
He's not 32. There's no way that both of them are 32
I tell you,
years
mate,
old.
if you're finding that with the first one, you do 100 of those and you're lost. That's an evening gone.
Oh man! Right, we'll tweet this from the Peacock account. But yeah, you need to see the sky.
And I tell you what, it's also a fantastic cause of an awkward conversation with your partner, where she leans over and goes, "You're not listening to a single thing I'm saying. What are you looking at?" And then you just show her a picture of two ancient-looking blokes from the 80s. And it's
you quickly load up Pornhub. Oh, it was this. That's less embarrassing.
Well, you've seen that video of the girl eating sushi, feeding the guy sushi, and she's got a phone strapped to her forehead, and it's got the football playing. You seen that?
Oh, well, no, I haven't. But that's a great. Hang on,
there's a girl, and she's taped. Oh, you got Calvin Phillips there. Look at that. There you go. Oh, missed it. Yeah, Calvin Phillips. But yeah,
there is, yeah.
She's taped the phone to her head. It's got the football on. That was it. That was the entire story.
The best way to do it. That's the whole joke. That's the whole joke.
But instead, you could have the balding old 80s guys.
Yeah. It's a great niche. Actually, probably won't be long until that is a niche on Pornhub. So looking forward to seeing that at some point. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Well, that seems as good a point as any to wrap this up and put it in the mail and send it off to our one listener in Uganda. Actually, we don't have any listeners in Myanmar, so that post-season tour was wasted. But we do have a Ugandan. We do have a Ugandan listener. So if you're listening, our owner is called Andrea Radazzani. If you're listening, Rads, you're not. But if you are, Uganda post-season tour. There we go. Hey, you hit it here.
I said Diga Ibawai to all our Ugandan listeners.
Hey, you didn't tell me this was a musical podcast. Hey, go on.
We started off with asking you if you wanted to have a dance.
True enough. Sorry, I turned it. I missed the hint, lads.
Full circle now.
Sorry.
I also offered several times to have a sing-song.
A sing-song. Sorry, I got hung up on the Hitler talk. I didn't get beyond that.
Yeah,
to be honest, it was.
Well, just remember.
So we could have gone musical without.
Special shout out. I'll tell you what. If you're talking about African pre-season tours, Everton did a great one a couple of years ago because they were sponsored by, I want to say, Kenyan betting firm, which basically just involved about a month worth of going from African country to African country. What was hilarious about it wasn't that at all. They did a lot of great work in a lot of communities that needed their support. what was great was the year after that, where the sponsorship deal was clearly still going on, they didn't go out there and just invited some random club team from Africa to come for a game at Goodison instead. It was as if they went, we're not doing that again. That's too much. We're not doing that again. Get them over here. Get them over here. That's the better way to go.
That company that sponsored them, didn't they do something dodgy and then they had to get disbanded or something? I can't remember it all.
Sport Pessa or something like that. Yeah.
Sport Pests.
Sport Pest. Yeah, something bad about. I don't know what they did, but sounds good.
Pests.
A Ugandan pest company. Fantastic times.
And he's the guy that run it and like put all his money to it is now our only listener. He's gone,
He thought this was a safe place. He thought he could listen safely.
I thought I'd got away with it.
They know I'm listening. How do they know that? Fucking hell.
Is this where we reveal ourselves as CIA agents or something, just to tell him?
That's it.
We did, at least the analytics.
Yeah, well, if this is the end, lads, I wish you well for Saturday. Enjoy whether you're PPVing or not, or I guess, is it on Austrian television?
It's on Sky. It's on Sky, which I do pay for my. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say for my sins. No, I'm not. I'm going to try and delete as many football cliches out of my vocabulary as possible, starting with today. Yes.
It's all out. Okay, cool. Is that on before?
But can you do it on a Cultures United Stoke?
Hey. So it's on the normal one. Otherwise, yes, I would be streaming it illegally. You heard it here first.
Well, fair play to you. Well, good luck. Enjoy. I'm going with my Tyler Roberts, 10 minutes from time. And if he does that, I'm going to go into a new business, I think, of predicting the most ridiculous.
At least put £1 on that. You've got to put £1 on that now.
Yeah. I will do. Why do you joke? Does he not score many?
He's not very good this season. That's all.
Oh, okay.
So, he was great last season, and he's just gone off the boil. So,
but one thing, it's fairly rare for Tyler to score. Another thing is he'll probably start on the bench, and the main thing is that's just an incredibly accurate prediction. You know, the 80th minute. I mean, okay, if it's the 78th minute, I probably won't give you 5 points, but I'll give you 3. You know, for that one prediction. But still, you know, you should really be getting that. If you're going to go that accurate, then 78th minute.
Well, I'll tell you what, to put some more colour on the narrative, he's going to come off the bench. No one's going to know he's picking him up from a corner. There you go. That's what's happening.
Wow. No one picked from a corner as well. We fucking never score from a corner.
Nathaniel Klein's going
to... You assign bonus points. I'm never going to get anywhere in this league.
Nathaniel Klein is going to be like, is he my man? Is he my man? And then Patrick Van Arnold's going to be like, I don't know. And then bang, 1-1. You know, it's crazy.
Well, there you go. Okay, so Jack, where are you from? You're from the 5-year plan. Is that
the 5-year plan podcast?
Okay. Yeah. And would you have a personal Twitter account that people can follow?
I do.
Not worth it.
Don't bother. It's just basic American politics maths at the moment, so I wouldn't bother following me for. Okay.
Sounds
much,
good.
To be honest,
you can tell me off air. And 5-year plan, what's that? At FYP?
At FYP fanzine. I can't remember. We'll put it in the bottom bit. We'll put it in the bottom bit of YouTube.
Yeah,
it's
link
at
in
FYP.
The description. Yeah.
So want to say thank you very much for coming on, and best wishes for 36 games this season.
Yeah, thank you so much, and the same to you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much. And it's a very, very goodbye from @RightBadger Alex.
See you later.
And it's also a somewhat mild goodbye from me, a bit like a tepid tea that has sat out too long. That was your match review podcast, and we'll see you again. Match preview, sorry. I always get them. Fucking hell, fucked it up again. Thanks very much. Goodbye.
Bye.
Most of our stats come from LUFC Stats or LUFC Data on Twitter. You should probably give them a follow as they're more interesting than us. A very special thanks to Adam Elliot, Adam Warner, Barney Stuart, Cookie, Ewan and Howard Metcalf, Josh Pearson, Laura, Leon and Rob, The Light Show, and all our family and friends.
So many games to play, don't care what's on your mind.